You know, we all want to make a bigger impact, right? To be more effective in what we do. But what if the biggest thing holding you back isn't your team or your boss or even a lack of resources? What if it's you? Today, we are going to dive into an idea that flips traditional leadership on its head. And we're going to find out that the very first person you have to learn to lead is yourself.
So let's kick things off with this core concept from leadership guru John C. Maxwell. He calls it the law of the lid. And it's pretty simple, really. Think of your leadership ability as a lid. It's the absolute ceiling on your potential. It doesn't matter how hard you work or how dedicated you are, your effectiveness can literally never rise above your leadership skills.
And that brings us to the big, crucial question you've got to ask yourself. I mean, really think about it. If your ability to lead puts a hard cap on your success, then how high is your lid right now? Figuring that out is the very first step to breaking through to that next level.
Okay, so let's really unpack this whole lid idea, because understanding it is the key to seeing why some super dedicated, hardworking people just seem to hit a wall, while others just keep growing their impact seemingly forever.
This chart just spells it out perfectly, doesn't it? You can have sky-high dedication. I'm talking a 9 out of 10. But if your leadership ability is kind of stuck down at a 4, guess what? Your overall effectiveness is capped right there with it. You're putting in all this effort, but getting pretty limited results. It's like trying to pour 10 gallons of water into a bucket that only has a 4-gallon lid. It just won't work.
So, if a low leadership lid is the problem, then how in the world do we raise it? Well, the answer isn't what most people think. It means a huge shift in focus, from looking out at everyone else to looking inward at ourselves.
And here it is. This is the big one. The single most important person you will ever lead is you. Yep. Before you can lead a team, a project, or a company, you first have to master leading yourself. This is the master key. This is how you lift your lid.
This quote just nails why self-leadership is so incredibly powerful. See, it has nothing to do with your job title or where you are on the org chart. It's a choice. It's an internal decision you get to make every single day. And that choice is available to you right now, no matter who you are or where you sit.
All right, so leading yourself sounds great. I get it. But what does that actually look like? How do you do it? Well, it all starts with mastering 3 specific areas of your life. Think of it as a practical framework.
To really lead yourself, you have to get a solid handle on these 3 pillars: your emotions, your time, and your priorities. Each one is a critical discipline that you've got to build. But as we're about to see, they are not all created equal.
Now, managing your emotions and your time, absolutely foundational. But one of these pillars has a truly massive, outsized impact on your ability to raise that leadership lid and multiply your effectiveness. Any guesses which one it is? It is all about mastering your priorities. Maxwell says that wisdom is basically knowing what to ignore, and to do that, you need a filter. These 3 questions are that filter. First up, requirement. What has to be done and can only be done by me? Second, return. What activities give me the biggest bang for my buck, the greatest return on my energy? And third, reward. What work truly fuels my passion and brings me fulfillment? Answering these helps you say no to the good stuff so you can say yes to the great stuff. Now, you might be thinking, okay, my priorities, that's a personal thing. But here's the crazy part. This internal work you do on yourself has a massive, unavoidable ripple effect on everyone around you.
Seriously, let this sink in for a second. The way you manage yourself, your focus, your discipline, your consistency, it doesn't just stay with you. It sets the tone. It quietly becomes the standard for your entire team. Your personal discipline, or maybe your lack of it, becomes their culture.
So how does that happen? Well, to understand it, we can look at the work of this brilliant organizational theorist, Edgar Schein. He explains that the deepest, most powerful level of any culture is made up of what he calls basic underlying assumptions. These are the unconscious beliefs about how the world works. They're so powerful because we don't even know they're there.
And here's where Schein connects the dots for us. He says that leaders are the original source of those beliefs and values that eventually become the team's shared assumptions. In other words, whatever you pay attention to, whatever you prioritize, that is what becomes your team's reality. Simple as that.
So let's bring this down to earth. How does this translate into something you can do every day? If your priorities shape the culture, then how you actually interact with people is where the rubber meets the road. Let's look at one simple practice you can start today.
In his book, The Coaching Habit, Michael Bungay Stanier talks about something he calls the advice monster.
We all have one, right? It's that impulse inside you to just jump in, react, tell people what to do, and take control. Leading yourself means taming that monster. The daily discipline is swapping it out for a coaching habit. So instead of just telling, you pause. Instead of controlling, you ask great questions. You shift from being the chief problem solver to being the one who empowers your team to find their own solutions.
So, in the spirit of that coaching habit, let me turn the question back to you. As you think about everything we've just talked about, what was the single most useful or interesting idea for you, personally? Just take a second. Thinking about that, well, that's where the real work of leadership begins.
At the end of the day, your effectiveness is capped only by your willingness to lead yourself first. It's a daily practice, a commitment to mastering what truly matters, and a choice to empower others instead of just telling them what to do. The choice, as always, is yours. So go on, lift your lid,